third year for the McKinney Boyd Broncos in wrestling. I'm joined by their head coach, Dave Clayton. And Coach, you had a 29 overall record in matches this year, team-wise, but it could have easily been more. You had a lot of close ones that you lost.
Yeah, I think with a little luck and maybe one more guy in the lineup somewhere, we could have been 26-3 or 27-2. It's, you know, things fall the way they do. We got hit by the bug a little bit of the flu, and we lost some guys during key matches. But I'm not upset with 20-9. It's just we lost probably 3 one-point matches throughout the year, and you know, a few more points here and there, and we're markedly better.
That speaks, you know, overall to your team success, but you also had a lot of individual success, including Alex Miner, who won the second ever state championship at Boyd High School.
Yep, it was almost a perfect season for him. He only lost one match, and the postseason was perfect. He wrestled great. It was, you know, you don't get there very often, you know, to the finals. So when you do and you win it, it's a great thing.
What was that state tournament like for him? You know, take me kind of through how it started, and you know, over the course of days, you know, trying to keep, you know, your weight kind of even and to prepare for your different matches.
Well, Alex handled his weight terrific. You know, he did a great job with that. He was down to weight and ready to go. But his first match wasn't the best match he's ever wrestled. He didn't. He should have pinned the guy. Didn't pin him. Won by 14-4. But he was kind of off a little bit. So we were a little worried. But he came back in the second match, and just a few hours later, and it was tight and close. And then he destroyed the kid in the third period. So, or maybe it was the second. But that gave us a lot of you know, positive thoughts going into day two. And if he wins in day two, he only has to win one match, and that puts him in the finals on Saturday. So we didn't get the guy we thought we were going to get in the semifinals. He actually lost to who we thought was the better guy. So we were very confident we could take that guy on, and we did. We pinned him. Alex moved on, and with the new format, he had to wrestle in the finals on Saturday morning, which is odd. You're usually wrestling in the semifinals on Saturday, but he's wrestling on in the morning in the finals. So you know, his weight was on track. He was able to eat a little bit, and going in, we knew we were facing the same guy we had faced the week before and the week before that. So and we'd won tight matches with him both times. Pretty much our strategy was the same: go in and push him hard and try to get him. You know, get him winded, and hopefully we can win it in the third period, and that's exactly what happened.
Howard Smith of Allen, the opponent for Alex in that championship match, and it was 8-7, so a 1-point victory. How close was it at the end?
Man, there was so many lead changes and strategy going on between the two, and Howard has a bad knee, and he hurt his knee a little bit in that match as well. So their strategy was to give us some points and get us on our feet and maybe beat us on our feet. But Alex was able to stave off a late rush by Howard going into the last 30 seconds and went out of bounds with 7 seconds left. And since we hadn't been hit with stalling yet, we were pretty sure that Alex could stall and get out of the match with an 8-7 victory. But it was nail-biting, I'll tell you. It was really hard to sit there and not have any control over what was going on out there.
In the previous 2 matches, he had won via the pin, and he also played 2 wrestlers that were from the Katy school district. What was it like, you know, you're not playing those wrestlers during, you know, you're not wrestling with those during the season, to see them? How's it dealing with a fresh opponent that you haven't seen yet? Well,
when we were in the old district, or the old region, we were in Region 3, and we got those guys in regionals, so we knew what they had. We had no idea this year. We didn't even go down there for a tournament because there's no real reason to, unless you're, you know, going to meet those guys at state, so you don't know who you're going to wrestle. So yeah, the Katy Cinco Ranch wrestler was a real tough kid. He ended up coming back and getting 4th, and we raised our game. I would say Alex did. Alex, you know, went out there and wrestled tough and was able to pin him. So that was, you know, you don't know what you're going to run into, so you just assume that they're really good and you wrestle your best match.
And what is, you know, Alex's feelings, you know, after winning that state championship? You know, what was it like for him?
Well, I think he won a private school state champ the year before, but I think he knew to be legitimate, he had to win a public school state title. And he, you know, obviously right after the match, he was elated, and I think it took a while to really sink in. And then he relaxed and was like, wow, I'm state champ. And it was amazing for him. And coming back to school with the gold medal was, wearing it around school the first day. And I think, being the only one other than Allen from this area to win the title was big for him too.
You also had 4 other wrestlers qualify for the regional tournament. So overall, the team very deep and talented this year. Who really impressed you?
We had 2 guys that got to actually wrestle in the region. Was Austin Gauss and Jeremiah Bradbury. Now Austin has been with us since a freshman, and he's a real strong kid, just dropped down from 32 to 126, and he ran into a couple of tough opponents, and I think normally he would have vied for a place at the region, but he had a couple of bad matches, and we're looking to get him back next year, and I think he'll go right back to regionals at least. Jeremiah was a first-year wrestler. Actually, he was in my class the year before, and he said, Coach, I'm coming out for wrestling next year. And I said, okay. I didn't expect much. He comes out, and by the end of the season, he'd picked up enough to start varsity and got in the district and got a favorable bracket and went right into regionals. So being top 4, get through, I think Coach Blackman was talking about that. Getting through to regionals is a little bit easier, but it's still, our district is so tough that it's not really that easy.
You have a lot of your talented wrestlers are sort of in the lighter weight classes. Alex Miner was in the lightest weight class at 106. You also have your talented players, as you mentioned, in the 130s and below. But you also have Kyle Simas, who's in the 220 weight class, and he's somebody that you're really impressed with and looking forward to for the future.
Kyle Simas was 28-3 heading into the district. He, in the last match before we went to districts, he was wrestling a pretty decent kid from Plano, and we needed him to win that match to save his 3rd seed at the district. And even though he was already hurt, I said, we can stop. And he said, no, I want to finish this match. And he came from behind and pinned the kid to save his 3rd seed. Well, at 28-3, he still was the 3rd seed. It tells you how good that bracket was at the district. But his injury really precluded him from wrestling well at the district, and he actually got pinned by a guy who he had easily pinned before. So it was just not his time. But knowing he was a sophomore, knowing he's got 2 more years, wow, we look forward to what he can do. He's beaten or taken down some of the best guys in the state. So yeah, he's got a real good future ahead of him.
Overall, going into the off season, what's the main plan for these kids to try and get better and come back and stronger next year?
Well, we got as many kids as we can wrestling Greco and freestyle, which is a different style, 2 different styles of wrestling, but at least they're on the mat, and the mat time is very important. They're doing a performance course, which is basically a long camp of lifting and form running and doing things that will make them more athletic. We would lift during our periods, during the class period, and they're just working as hard as they can between now and then. Camps over the summer, certainly.
I wanted to finish on talking about your only other state champion in school history, Michael Dotrieve, who won a couple of years ago, also in a light weight class, very similar to Alex Miner. What is it about those 2 kids? Was there a special trait that allowed them to be state champions?
Well, I would say that their love for the sport and their dedication throughout the off season, because I mean, we say it all the time, the kids that are on the podium in May at the Freestyle and Greco Championships are usually the guys that are on the podium in February. So they both were dedicated, and they wrestled all year round, and so they sought out the toughest competition that they could, and that made the difference, I think, in both of them.
Well, big congratulations for Alex on that win, and congratulations to you, Coach, for coaching a state champion and several qualifiers for regionals, and it looks like it's going to be even better for Boyd next year.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So that will do it here with the Boyd interview. Good wrestling season for everyone, including having a 2nd state champion in school history. This week's Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week is Ben Jasinski from McKinney Boyd High School. Ben, a sophomore, is not only a top wrestler for the Broncos, but a consistent A-B student in the classroom. On the mat, Ben was 24-11 this year in the 120-pound weight class. In the off-season, he runs distance races and recently finished near the top of the field in the Hero Dash. Ben is an active volunteer with the Mickey Mantle World Series and has earned the maximum 100 green court hours each year. That's Ben Jasinski from McKinney Boyd High School, our Dennis Baker State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week.